read one of your core beliefs on the website is those who have historically been marginalized in the golf world should be invited to play. It gave me a pause because I've thought one thing NewClub needs to work on is being more inviting. We have our criteria, we have our values, and we need people to meet those before they get accepted to be a part of us, part of the golf society. But I thought we could be more inviting. So my question is, how do you actively approach that issue, the invite?
That's a good question. It's hard because I think with our stuff too, we kind of tried to make it so that like actively like in the branding for our events, we'll say like we want you to come. Like and that means you even if you've never played golf before, even if you never thought about golf before, like you are invited and just like being explicit about that. Um and I think it's still something we're like trying to figure out too, especially as it relates to like, Black, Indigenous people of color. Because like we said before, a lot of it at the beginning was just word of mouth. And then that makes it, self-select based on who's saying it to whom. Right. And so you don't have as much control over that part. So what are the ways that we can just be more explicit through our social media channels, which is kind of tough because we're not taking any new pictures right now. And we're not, like we're resharing things, I think, that maybe aren't things that people will see on your average golf Instagram account. And I think that that's one thing that we can do, just be very clear about who we are and what we believe. Because I think one of the things that we took away from this year was like, if you're not explicitly saying something, that it's implied that you think something different almost, so if you're not actively saying like, we are an anti-racist organization, or we're trying to be, and we believe there should be more people of color playing golf. A lot of organizations are not saying that. So I think even just by saying it, you're doing at least something. Is that enough? I don't think so yet. But I think as we get into the event season, I hope that this year will be a lot different in terms of who's coming to events. Because we're just trying to kind of work the back channels, network in a different way, and just kind of be more intentional about what we're doing. Because I think that's been a lesson of our whole experience with Grueter Golf is just like getting more intentional with every milestone. So yeah, but it's tough though. It's hard.
I mean, I definitely would say we're figuring it out, and we haven't really entered the height of our events, which will really pick up in May or June, May and June. Assuming that, we can host events and do so safely and all of that. So, it's one of those things that I just hope that will be better over time. And I think, like Jen said, the first step is talking about it and being deliberate about how we talk about it and making it known and saying it out loud, putting it on our website, talking about it in the podcast, putting it on our social channels to the extent that we can. And then, there will probably be some trials and errors and all of that, like as time goes on. But I think at the end of the day, we're just going to try harder to make that happen, as opposed to, more passively accepting whoever comes to our events as those being the only people that want to play golf. There's obviously more people out there than the ones we've seen. So
that's really well said, and something I think we could continue to partner up on, with you guys in a way, because we focus on a difference. In my mind, we focus on a different segment where you guys are so welcoming and inviting to beginners, to early golfers. NewClub's not, and I've come to grips with that, right? Like, grow the game, maybe not NewClub. Like, we're taking existing golfers and giving them something really cool and special to be proud of and a part of. For us, it's how do we find diverse groups that just love golf in that way? Because they're there. I mean, they're there.
But there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many different like cool brands and cool groups. And I think, I think that, yeah, they're just more than you'd know. And so many of them are doing like a really great job, like education and stuff. Like we're friendly with All Access Golf, out of New York. And they've every day this month for Black History Month have posted like a different story about a different individual, within, the golf Black history. And like the more too, kind of the more I think you get, like a little bit upset about things. And then the more upset you get, if you're me, especially, the more active you get. And I think so getting people like a healthy level of upset, especially when we didn't like we didn't know anything about golf history in general, like barely kind of had like the big names down. Right. But then to learn kind of, especially like around the Masters and everything that, it wasn't until 1976 that they allowed a black man to play in the Masters. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, that's really bad.
And even then he was like,
You got death threats and everything.
I was gonna say he had security detail, he had to move houses.
Yeah, like, so I think, what we've kind of seen too is that a lot of people in the golf world have a problem even acknowledging that there might still be a problem, and kind of using the whole kind of like, the ball doesn't know what color you are. And it's like, okay, well, everyone else does, right?
Everyone around the ball knows.
Yeah, like the ball doesn't do a lot of things,
Yeah.
So I think it's a strange time, but I think it'll be, again, kind of to go back to what we were talking about before. I think like in our lifetimes, we're going to see some like a shift that will hopefully be pretty meaningful. And I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And multiple groups coming at it from every angle, the people that are blazing the trail, as well as the ones that are sitting there in some positions of power and influence already. I think we're starting to see it. So that's good. You guys have organized some golf events for other organizations, one in Chicago, Kellogg Business School. Is it?
That's right.
That's a deep cut.
That is. I was like, who in Chicago?
So what's your approach to those events? And can I get your services for NewClub one time this year?
I mean, yes, absolutely. We, we've long talked about the potential opportunity in tapping into business schools and even like big corporations that want to host not even female only outings, because the one for Kellogg was co-ed, but want to host fun young events with a different spin on golf. And the one with Kellogg came about because we had a couple of friends that, one we had gone to college with, another one we knew through mutual friends from New York City, and they were part of the golf club at Kellogg and wanted to throw a spring outing, which I think they do every year, to be fair. But being the good friends they are, they're like, let's reach out to Grueter Golf and we'll kind of collab and co-brand it. And unfortunately, we actually did have to rain check it due to the weather, so we weren't able to be there in person. But they're all business school kids, so they know how to really do a lot of things pretty well.
So organized. It's wild.
They're the most organized. It was actually a good lesson for us of how to like stay really organized in planning an event. We learned just as much from them. But
a spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But no, it was all in all a pretty easy event to put on. Like, we sent them all the goodie bags that they'd give to everyone. And actually, you know what? One thing we were fascinated by, and we're still trying to tap into this, their ticket sales sold out within minutes. Like, we put the tickets live and like within 2 hours, everything was, and we're like, we're selling tickets up until the day before an event, like usually day of as well. Like, what did they do? Like, how do they get that? And, we still haven't really cracked that code, but hopefully
this is the year.
Yeah. 2021.
Did looking back, do you think, you mentioned it was really important to have other early golfers on your journey, right? The support of the journey. Looking back, do you think it was equally important or important that they were female? Or do you think could Grueter Golf be doing what it's doing if it were also co-ed in a way? And I know you guys have done some of those, but is it possible, or did it need to be female only to succeed?
I mean, it's tough to say whether it would have worked out just the same if it had been co-ed, but there is something that's very special about the women only events that we still host. Like, there's just a different energy to it. And I think, maybe it's because the sexual tension is removed to some degree. We obviously have, LGBTQ people at all events. So it's not, it's never completely gone. Always a little bit of sexual tension to make a good event, right?
You gotta have a little bit.
But, I think, the female events come and it's just friendlier for some sort of reason, because it's just like girls trying to make friends with one another. And I think that's because that's like what we purport to, like, we're founded by four best friends, so like that's fed into what our company became. It's like, you come here to make a friend to golf with. And yeah, it's hard to put your finger on exactly what it is. I think also guys have a harder time looking bad in front of girls at things. Is that
Well,
correct?
yeah, no, I think that's completely fair. And I would almost say that it's not necessarily the male versus female, because yes, the female only events are awesome and there is something really special and intangible to what goes on there. But I would also say the difference is between beginner and more seasoned golfers, because typically at our co-ed events, all the males have played a number of rounds and know their way around the golf course and are probably golfers themselves. Whereas the women that are still coming to those events, for the most part, we do have a wide range of skill levels, but we attract beginner females. So, we still have that mismatch then, right? And then that goes into all the reasons why we didn't like golf and why we didn't pick it up early in our lives, because we didn't want to play with people that were really good, and we didn't find our confidence or you know the low expectations in other parts of our lives when we were playing with people that were better than us. So I think a lot of what our like secret sauce is taking down those barriers of having to look good in front of people. And Jen, absolutely right, guys don't like looking bad in front of females, but no,
Yeah, I feel like the likelihood of getting a bunch of like guys who are really shitty at golf to come to a co-ed event to like learn with
right.
women, I've never seen that before.
I know. I
Yeah,
mean, it'd be
that would be
great if they
another.
did.
Yeah, that'd be another first. You're
Yeah,
right.
it'd be
Yeah,
awesome. We'd
so
love
I
it.
think that's like some of it. I mean, like you think about kind of, like even like Tin Cup or something, and that like creepy man teaching woman narrative, like getting behind her and basically like grinding with her. You know what I mean? Like that's what we've always kind of tried to be the antithesis of. Like we're the opposite of your boyfriend yelling at you on a golf course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong, the co-ed events are a lot of fun.
Oh my
And
God, they're so fun.
yeah, like,
It's
and
also
they
fun,
will,
really.
right. No, and those will continue to be part of our DNA. Like, we do a handful of both, obviously catering more towards women, but the co-ed events are a lot of fun. They're just different. It's a completely different vibe. The people that come out have different expectations. I want to word count on how many times I've said that in this episode.
A lot of expectations.
But no, I mean, it's
Did
true
I
though. Like,
mention our expectations should be low?
yes, exactly. And I really hammer that home. But yeah, and again, because we ourselves are new to golf and we've been in these shoes, and to a lot of it, in a lot of ways we still are. When I play around with three guys, it's very different than when I play around even with another couple, and half and half. Like the vibe is just different no matter what. And I think it's great for females to feel empowered and willing to go play with three guys. But I also think it's really special to be able to kind of create the space where they don't have to, and they can play with other girls that, you know, are, like I said, different skill levels, whatever it may be. But there's something really, really special, I think, about the girls only that I don't think we'll ever lose sight of.
Yeah,
It's an incubator.
I have polled our female members on some things that we could do better. One suggestion has been, and I've struggled with it frankly, and why I asked the question is female only tee times. We have our events and our trips and all that, but I've really struggled to say, like, do we make anything only tee time? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that, why can't we just organize it? Why does it have to be kind of dictated that this is the time,
Yeah. I mean, a part of the strength of that is like the ability to pee in the woods, though,
Yeah.
like if I hadn't been like, I've been working with my coworkers for like 8 years now, you know what I mean? Like we know each other really well. I felt comfortable enough saying to him, hey, I have to go pee in the woods right now. But like if I were with three guys that I didn't know, I
very
probably would
good
have had to
point.
hold it. And then I would have slowly gotten a little bit more, pissy, no pun intended. And I might have started playing more poorly and like nobody would know why, because I would be too embarrassed to be like, I'm sorry, I just didn't want to like pull my pants down over there, like when I don't know
10
you
yards away from you.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so I think like it's not just, I think there are a lot of different things that go into like the strength of having, maybe offering a female only tea time or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's maybe it's baby steps too, of like getting to the point where frankly, guy or male members actually understand that, like, hey, it is really brutal if there's not a restroom on, this 9.
Maybe you can write that into like, do you send out some sort of confirmation email or
Yeah, we do.
something?
Yeah,
So you can be like, by the way, if you're playing with a female, like she needs to know that it's okay if she needs to go pee in the woods in front of you, kind of.
Yeah.
That's that's a way to be proactive about it.
We'll work on the
That's
language.
free
We'll work-
information, Matt.
we'll-
You can
we'll
just
work
use
on
that
it.
one. We won't charge you.
We'll work on the language.
Okay.